Are you working on anything new?
I have a lot of material that I want to write about, and it has to do with this experiment that we launched at our farm on December 31st. So I bought a farm years ago, in the mid-90s, 94 actually. And a friend of mine last fall asked if she could host a small women's retreat there. And it was in November, and I said, look, this is like primitive. There are 3 little tiny one-room cabins that surround an outdoor fire pit. You have to bring water in, it's an outhouse, there is electricity. And she said, yeah, but I'm working with these women and I want them to take a risk. You know, if you want to change anything in your life, you have to take a risk to do things differently. That's how change happens. And so I helped her set up. I mean, we brought out camping cots, sleeping bags, pillows. We cleaned those 3 tiny little one-room cabins. We brought out art supplies, cooking, coffee maker, teapot. It was a lot of work, honestly. And I called her Sunday night. I was doing Christmas rehearsals. And I called her on Sunday night and said, well, okay, debriefing, how did it go? And she laughed and she said, well, half of us are still sitting around the fire. And I went, well, great. Let's another night and called back. So the next night I called her. The next night I had just gone and I think I had taped Tennessee Christmas for the CMA Christmas special. Anyway, I'm sitting there doing like my regular job thing. I called her on Monday night, so it was her 4th night out there. And she said, Amy, I have all these projects and activities supposed to do, but some of the women are still here at the fire. All the food was fire. And this was the first week of November, and I said, hang with me just for a second. I mean, who doesn't wish that they could be pulled out of the daily grind? And I said, just let me say this idea out loud. What if we started a fire in that fire pit on December 31st, and I invited friends to come and keep the fire for 48 hours at a time? And they could, I don't have to be there, they can have a 48-hour party, they can be a romantic getaway, it can be solitude, and we supply all those basics. And they basically bring, 2 days worth of clothes and a picnic. Anyway, and I said, hey, if it lasts a week, how awesome. What a great reminder of all the fires happening in our lives, friends, relationships, dreams. But I asked people to sign up because, if you're signed up for something, then you feel the responsibility. I'm not going to let the fire go out on my watch, even if it's bad weather. And I thought, what if it lasts for like 21 days? What if it lasts? Anyway, I drove out to the farm this morning because the fire is still going.
That's amazing.
I know. And a family was just there over the weekend. We had 3 or 4 days of torrential downpour. And there was a family out here, a husband and wife and 3 daughters, and the youngest is not even a year old. And I called the last night. I said, is that fire still going on? Because my feeling is when it goes out, it goes out. And the dad, he's in his late 30s, and he said, this is so crazy because there was actually water in the fire. It's a huge, cast iron fire holder. And my son designed a top that could be placed on it to create like a chimenea. And so anytime bad weather, snow, rain, they put that top on it. And overnight they put that top on so it keeps the embers hot. And he said, there's actually water under the fire, but the fire's still going. So I drove out here today to check on the woman. And she had a son that she took to school and came back and I said, he's going to smell like smoke. And she said, he doesn't care. It's crazy. Couples have come out here, men's groups, retreats, and it's just it has been such a community experience. And this weekend at the farm, on a different part of the farm, we're hosting it's a pilot program for veterans who have been diagnosed with severe PTSD, and we're doing a music therapy program where we pair each veteran, and they're all young, we pair them with an established songwriter, a Nashville songwriter, and they find a way to tell a part of their story but reframe it in a creative setting. And they're finding that that's very helpful in dealing with PTSD. And then by the end of the weekend, those songs will be performed here And then in June, we're having 2 weeks of day camp.
How are you letting people know about these? How did the veterans find out about it? Or how are the people finding about the day camp or keeping the fire going?
Well, the camp is, it's a camp called Barefoot Republic, and it's 60% scholarship. It's a faith-based camp that brings kids together from all different racial, socioeconomic backgrounds, and we always need volunteers. The camp this summer is already sold out, 225 kids a week, and so that's online. It's called Barefoot at the Farm, and this, I mentioned this music therapy program, so this pilot program is small. I think we have, but we worked with the VA here in Nashville, and we're hoping to start programs like this around the country, but this first one, because there's such a density of songwriters here. And then the Dell guitars, the guitars are made in Bend, Oregon, but they're actually giving guitars to each of the veterans. They're using the farm, but Mac Bailey is the music therapist, and this is done through an organization called Challenge America that's based in Aspen, Colorado. But they came to Nashville last fall. Vince and I have done fundraising for this organization for about 16, 17 years. And the Keeping the Fire, I started by inviting my family, but it's just word of mouth. There's actually not a sign-up because it's, I guess on some level somebody needs to know somebody.
Yeah.
It would be like asking somebody to house sit. But I met a porter at Lake Oconee, the Ritz-Carlton Lake Oconee, when I was hosting an event there, and we became friends. And he's a dad with 5 kids, and he texted me in December and said, I'm making a trip to Tennessee to pick up a dog. I'm looking for some kind of really rustic experience to share with my children. I'm just picking your brain because you're near where we're picking up the dog. I said, have I got a rustic experience for you? So it's weird. In a way, I feel like people are being brought to me to do this. And so these are all invitations that I personally extend. I had one of the vice presidents of HCA, which is, healthcare is a huge thing here in Nashville, and he and his wife came. They brought friends had never met, but I met their friends. So it's kind of, we're watching the ripple effect of community.
Yeah.
But I just, I try to drive up to the hilltop every couple of days, and I bring more water and coffee and half, and I go, hi, I'm Amy. Touring, part of the reason I enjoy touring is that any income that I can generate, I come back and pour it into programs at the farm, because, obviously all of this that we do at the farm is just, it's all volunteer, But it's crazy because I look at any opportunity to tour and I go, oh gosh, well then maybe we could, it allows me to enhance programs here. But to me, that's the adventure of life. And if you look at every person as we are connected, we're already connected. And so the adventure is, how do we pursue community in the context of already being connected? And sometimes that's wonderful, and sometimes it's scary, and because people are a mess. That phrase, loved people love people, and hurt people hurt people. And, I've had some hairy, scary experiences too, but I just look at it and go, well, you got to show up and bring yourself and see where it goes. And so that's what I'm up to. And during all that other stuff, I will also pack a bag and throw my guitar on my back and go sing. Yeah, it's funny. It's all of the non-musical things that have re-energized me to go sing all these old songs. Yeah. It feels like a gift to still get to do that. And then the crazy thing is that I've had longtime fans that have come and volunteered to help with camp. And, maybe it was somebody that used to bring me flowers at the front of the stage, and now I look over and they're leading a hike. And I go, man, I appreciated the cookies that you brought, but this is so much more important because 225 kids a week, that's a workload. But to have somebody saying, I love your songs, let me help. Like, thank you. Yeah. Life is an adventure, isn't it?
Oh, boy, it sure is. It's a shame to waste it. Shame to waste one moment of it. One more quick remembrance of one of the things that we did together. And back when I was still in New York, and it had to be before 94 because my grandmother died in 94, you came to, I think it was Radio City. We did a show with you, and Philip Bailey opened. You remember that?
I do, yeah.
Well, back in those days when an artist was coming, you played one of their songs like every hour to help pump the concert. And of course, you were Amy Grant, and so we were already playing about a song every hour. So we were playing like 2 Amy Grant songs an hour for like 3 weeks leading up to the show. So the week after the show, on my morning show, I did a no Amy Grant week, and I had you do liners for it. And one of them was,
it's all coming back to me.
one of them was, does Grandma Williams know about this? And I played that for my grandmother, and she, until the day she died, she talked about Amy Grant mentioning her on the radio.
Oh, I love that.